Welcome to What's Up with Wicked. I'm Terry Beazer for Screen Rant, and this is our look at the gravity-defying box office stats. Jonathan Bailey thirsting letterbox comments. Yes, we've seen you, you dirty buggers. The critics' reviews and the chat with our Screen Rant expert on all the Wicked info that will keep you popular. Do you see what we did there?
I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Let's do this then. Wicked, you might have heard of it. It is the big screen adaptation of the globe-conquering mega-hit musical that has been played in 16 countries and seen by more than 60 million people and grossed over $1 billion. That is nice work if you can get it. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo slay in performances that are destined to be the stuff of legend, and that is not hyperbole. I do not know what your local multiplex was like, but mine was a sea of green and pink. It was awesome. That's enough about Gladiator 2. Hell, you know what I mean. This was a real event movie at the theatre. Heath Ledger Joker-style icons for the Pink Pony Club generation, am I right? All part of a movie that is so joyous, it'll make you want to choke out anyone moaning about the colour grading with your magic wand. Life is too short, the world is on fire, and there is no point in moaning about the colour grading in what is a superb blockbuster movie. This is, of course, the first half of the story that follows the tale of Shrek-skinned Elphaba and the none more blonde Galinda, two diametrically opposed witches sashaying their way through that Oz life at Michelle Yeoh's Shiz University and all the way to the Emerald City. This is where we meet Jeff Goldblum's wizard, his flying monkeys, and a cliffhanger from hell for everyone who hasn't seen the stage musical, all via more enchanted bangers that should be legally allowed in a public space. I do not know how we all kept our shiz together in a movie theatre, but we did. Just about. I myself wanted to explode in a big old puddle of What am I doing with my life? The movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and that is a runtime of just 5 minutes shorter than the stage show's entire duration, but that simply does not matter when cinema feels this good. We at Screen Rant gave the movie 9 out of 10, with Rachel Labonte praising it as a near-perfect adaptation of the musical and a project that is bursting with wonder and whimsy. It most certainly is. The cinema score of this movie also has an A, suggesting that audiences, critics, pets, mythical beings, aliens, and everything in between are all in agreement that this is a good time for anyone and everyone. Honestly, I feel like I should be on commission at this point in the video, but it really is a great movie.
Come with me. What? To meet the wizard.
I couldn't possibly. This is your moment. I'm coming.
At the box office, Wicked had the third biggest domestic opening weekend of 2024, taking in a whopping $114 million. Only the $211 million debut of Wolverine and Deadpool and Inside Out 2's $154 million took more. It is also the biggest ever opening for a Broadway musical turned into a movie in history, leapfrogging Les Miserables' $103 million opening. Take that and stick that one up your Jean Valjean. It is impressive considering that Gladiator 2 also opened on the same weekend. Both of these movies are spectacular and deserve your time. Gladiator 2 took in $55 million, meaning that the total gross of Glicked, which is as awkward to say as it is to write, but anyway, Glicked total gross clocks in about $169 million, which falls massively short of the $224.4 million combined total of the much easier to say Barbenheimer, with Barbie and Oppenheimer taking in $162 million and $82.4 million respectively. It does, however, buck the recent trend of musicals being turned into massive flop movies, dwarfing the $10.5 million opening for Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, the $11.5 million taken by In the Heights, and bad showings overall from the likes of Dear Evan Hansen, The Colour Purple, and the worst movie ever committed to celluloid, Tom Hooper's 2019 version of Cats, as if we ever needed any more reason to hate James Corden. We'll be back with the best letterbox comment shortly. Here's Screen Rant's May Abdelbaki to answer your questions. Don't forget to be in the Screen Rant YouTube community page every weekend for your chance to be part of this show. Give us your questions and they might get onto the show. Here's May. Okay, May, nice to have you with us on the show. First question today comes from Caden Churchill saying, seen the movie, and as a Wicked fan who's seen the show twice, once in Seattle and once on Broadway, I loved it. We need more movie musical adaptations that are this good. And I wanted to ask you first, had you seen the musical coming into this? Because I went in entirely blind.
Yes, I've also seen it twice on stage. Excellent. So I did have very high expectations going into the film, but it did deliver for the most part for me. I was very excited. It felt like I was watching the stage musical all over again, but with great expansions, and the audience was great too. They clapped and everything.
Ours was very, very animated, I have to say. Did you feel that it translated well? Because these things have, in recent times, not really translated. Even something as like a global institution as West Side Story kind of flopped when it went to the box office. So what happened with Wicked? Why has this one struck such a chord with people? Because I don't know about you, but my theatre was emotional too. It felt like a real outpouring.
Yeah, I think with Wicked, it's something about the way that the story is structured. It's also deeply about friendship, two people sort of hating each other, coming together in friendship, and that kind of love there at the center that is what makes it so powerful, and I think everyone can relate to it in that way. And the songs are super catchy, and it's sort of, I'm not sure how many people who've seen the musical have necessarily seen The Wizard of Oz, because it is an older film, but it sort of expands on the story and gives us a little bit of a background in a way of, you know, was this woman actually the villain we think she is? And so I think that really resonates with people because we get to see a different perspective as well.
Agreed. Like, these are my first time sampling these songs. Like, I listen to bands called things like Tomb Mold, so this is not my usual fare, but it feels as though this might have a new influx of musicals at the theatre. Do you think that whoever is holding the purse strings for something like Hamilton is looking at this weekend, rubbing their hands together? Do you feel like Wicked might open the door for more of this kind of thing? Because with this and Folie à Dieu in the same period, it's tough what to make of the future of musicals.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a door that's been opened more. I mean, we've had musicals, maybe like you mentioned, West Side Story. We've had In the Heights, which John M. Chu actually directed, but it was a kind of a day of release in theaters and streaming, so I'm not sure it really gained the popularity of this one. But in terms of Wicked, I think it's long history. It's been on Broadway for 25 years now, and it still resonates with people. In terms of Hamilton, I do think that there is a way into the musical adaptation with Wicked now kind of paving the way, but I do think that Hamilton has a little bit more controversy attached to it versus Wicked, where it's a more very simplified story. It's a vicious story also, and so, you know, Hamilton might have a little bit more difficulty, but I still think it's popular enough that people would still go to see it.
So our next question is from Bob Jeff, who says, if I have a question, why is it a two-parter? I've never seen a movie that is a two-parter before, and I'm confused by this, and it's weird. And it does feel like it's, while it's not unprecedented, even things like Kill Bill was split up into two parts. I think anyone who watched The Snap in theatres can appreciate the agonising wait between Infinity War and Endgame. Like, what is it about this that justifies a 2.5 hour, like, epic twice? Like, the first movie is 5 minutes shy of the entire runtime of the stage show. So why is it justified in being two movies, mate?
I mean, I think it's justified in terms of the effects of what came in Act 1 to really have that power. And the last song, and I think the directors talked about this as well, the last song is so powerful that you are left wanting more, and you're going to come back to get more, just like we have the intermission on the stage show, except this intermission is a year long. But I think that there's still enough story to justify coming back to the theaters and seeing how everything shakes out with the characters and storyline. And, the expansion of the first act is really important because we get a lot and what makes them so good as friends. So I think that for me, I would come back to see a second one, even though I know that other people will not feel that way, because I do think that the story could have been cut into one movie and, shortened a little bit, because I know that we've been a little bit tired of the two-parters for a very long time. And a lot of people might see it as a cash grab, but I will be back in theaters to see it for sure.
Totally. As someone, like I say, as someone that came in with very little reverence, like as far as never seen the source material and having like zero of the expectations of a theatre that was full of pink and green and full of expectation, I find it impossible to believe that the second part of this movie won't absolutely dwarf the first in terms of its take at the box office and things. Like, do you imagine that this will be a big hit when it rolls back around for part 2? Because sometimes the second time comes out and it's far less, but I can't imagine this being the case for Wicked.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people want to see how it, how it finishes, how the story wraps up, what the characters have going on, and also what the additions might be, what the expansion of the story might be. I know a lot of people love Defying Gravity as kind of like the central song of the whole musical, but there's plenty of songs in the second act that I think are very, very powerful, and it takes a little bit of a darker turn now that we have the finale of Act 1. We take a little bit of a darker turn, and it becomes a lot more interesting and fascinating to see where these characters end up. So there's definite interest there.
And for someone like myself who has not seen where we are going, what should we look forward to for the last question?
Oh, amazing songs. There's one song called No Good Deed that is sung by Elphaba, and it is phenomenal. It's kind of a powerhouse song that showcases like her journey from being this person who really believes in change to someone who's like, I've done some things and this is how my life has turned out because of that. And so that's very powerful. And there's also a great duet between Fiyero and Elphaba that people have something to look forward to with that relationship.
Nothing bad is happening in Oz.
Someone's got to do something.
Thanks for taking the time today, mate. Great for having you, and justice for Elphaba.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
These are the best letterbox comments for Wicked, and David Ehrlich gets us underway with undeniably funny that this 160-minute half movie about how the Wicked Witch of the West got her broom opens with a voiceover saying, now let me tell you the whole story. Nope, not even close on that one, and Kat gets thirsty with the way the entire theatre moaned every single time Jonathan Bailey was on screen should be studied. Something that Leah has something to say about with, I love that Jonathan Bailey didn't even try to play Fiyero straight at all. But I have a minor gripe on this, and that's, why does he look about 15 years older than everyone else? Was Clint Eastwood busy? Was Jack Nicholson on holiday that week? What's going on? Bobby serenades us with corn muffin. I'm gonna eat corn muffin. Me, eating the corn muffin. I snuck into the 10 a.m. Wicked. And good for you. I paid $22 for some chocolate-covered raisins, a drink, and some Haribo. You enjoy your corn muffin. Gio makes it weird by asking, but like, is it green? And I don't know how you and your perverse mind made it through 4 Shrek movies thinking like that, but here we are. Eso really can't wait a whole year, saying, I'm seated for part 2. The cast and crew are scared and asking me to leave because it's not even out yet. But I'm simply too seated. And Emma backs her up with, actually, the biggest problem with this movie is that we have to wait a whole year to hear Cynthia Erivo sing No Good Deed. Bree is getting in on this one nice and early with, I will physically pull a second Oscar out of my ass for Ariana if she does not win Best Supporting Actress. And let me tell you, honestly, every bisexual you have ever met is going to burst into flames with anger if she is not nominated for every single thing at the Oscars. So amen on that, sister. Alan says, can't believe this adaptation of a Broadway musical had a better jump scare than the entirety of Smile 2. And backed on that, my partner nearly let down her skin in the pile that you are talking about. And Matthew gets praise from grammar fans everywhere with, there's a scene where Elphaba calls out Galinda for saying she could care less. This is now my favourite film. Yes on that. And Brian makes great points with, walked in a little sceptical, but by the time Elphaba and Galinda do their little ballroom duds, I was won over. A massive, rousing blockbuster spectacle. Ariana Grande, a genuine comedic force? I agree, I think she is. Well, Cobb isn't at all over dramatic in saying defying gravity in IMAX felt like seeing the face of God. May's Notebook takes a peek at the press tour for this movie with, oh wait, now I get why they were crying so much, help. And Simon takes us home with, damn, and I was making fun of those commercials, me and you both. Those were all of the best comments on Letterboxd for Wicked. Leave your own 6-word review in the comments section below. I'm Terry Bees for Screen Rant, and that was what's up with Wicked. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.